Ladies and gentlemen, would you please show your appreciation to all of the officials on poolside who have given up their time to ensure this session can run. And we are joined in this session by Swimming League President Jim Wilkes. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the national anthem? The commentator for this session is Mr. Peter Bays.
So welcome everyone to this third weekend of the Swim England Hertfordshire County Championships for 2023. We've got a few events to get through on this session. We're going to start with the women's 50-metre breaststroke. That's going to be followed by the men's 400 metres individual medley, the women's 400 metres freestyle, and we're going to finish the session with the men's 200 metres freestyle. Got quite a few heats of the 50 breaststroke, as you would imagine. We've got 14 of those, only 3 of the 400 IM and 5 of the 400 free. Men's 200 free will finish with 9 heats. So bear in mind at the end of this session, for anyone who hasn't been involved in the competition so far, we do have some finals. So we will be having championship finals, age group finals at the end of the session. Just for the benefit of spectators, I will try to give the ages of the swimmers swimming, because obviously we have mixed age groups because it's just seeded slowest to fastest. So I'll try and give the age groups as we're going along, so you have some idea, if you're following one of your competitors in the pool, who they're swimming against and who else they've got in their age group as we go along. So we start today's session with event 501, the women's 50 metres breaststroke. And this is going to be swum in 14 heats. And this is heat 1 with swimmers in lanes 3, 4 and 5. So 2 lengths to the pool, just the 3 swimmers in the first heat. We've got Sophia Saccato in lane 3, she's 11. The other 2 are both 11, she's from St Albans. Lane 4 is Amelia Clark, who's from Stevenage, and her teammate Sophie Peterson is in lane 5. And it's going to be close between Sophie in lane 5 and Amelia in lane 4. Sophia just behind them at the moment. And it's going to be a good race between these 2 at the front. 2 Stevenage swimmers locked together. Amelia in 4, Sophie in 5, but it's Amelia just coming to the front, coming into the last few strokes. Amelia's got about a half a metre lead, and she touches first in a time of 46.79. Sophie Peterson touching in 47.87, and Sophia just behind them in 51.17. This is heat 2 of the women's 50 metres breaststroke. Seven swimmers on this one. Lane 1 is Mia Monk-Smith, who's 11 from Berkhamsted. Lane 2, Angela Pavana, who's 11 from Potters Bar. In fact, they're all 11. Dorothea Ward is in lane 3 from Bushy. Isla Cayley in lane 4 is from Watford. Yaxi Tong in lane 5 is from Stevenage. Eloise Geffin in lane 6 is from St Albans. And Tilly Pickersgill in lane 7 is also from Stevenage. Again, a close race across the pool, but just in the lead at the moment. In lane 4 is Isla Cayley, fastest entry of 47.36. Also going well, Tilly Pickersgill over in lane 7, and Dorothea in lane 3. But coming into touch, as they touch, first to touch there in a time of 44.89 is Isla Cayley. Second, just getting in second place, Dorothea Ward, 46.48, and third, 46.57 was Tilly Pickersgill over on the far side. This is heat 3 of the 50 metres breaststroke. They're all 12 apart from Esme in lane 8, who's 11, so nearly all 12-year-olds. Chloe Wan in lane 1 is from Costa. Lane 2 is Isabel Smith from Hatfield. 3, Sophia Butt from St Albans. Lane 4 is Faye Leggett from Ware. Lane 5, Sophia Tyak, I beg your pardon, from Tring. Lane 6 is Erica Kukula, who's from St Albans. Lane 7, Emily Mayer, who's from Watford. And then the 11-year-old Esme Hui in lane 8 from Watford. Leading the way at the moment, lane 3, Sophia. And it's Sophia who's just ahead, I think, of Emily Mailer and over on the far side, but they're very close indeed. Emily going very well in lane 7, fast finish also from Isabella in 2. But as they touch, it is Emily who gets the touch. Emily Mailer touching first in 44.09. Second was Sophia Butt, 44.31. And third, Isabella Smith finishing fast, touching in 45.04. Heat 4 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Lane 1 is Mirabelle Bradley, who's 12 from Tring. Lane 2, Florence Fawcett, who's 13 from Hitchin. 3, Jasmine Scott, who's 12 from St Albans. Lane 4 is Evie Butterworth, who's 13 from Tring. 2 more 13-year-olds alongside. Jasmine Davis in 5 from Watford, and Emmy Freeth in 6 from Cheshunt. Lane 7 is Natalie Herbst, who's 12 from St Albans. And another 11-year-old, one of the faster 11-year-olds in this, Watford's Isabella Cowie in lane 8. She entered at 45, keep an eye on that. Leading the way at the moment is Evie Butterworth from Tring. And 11-year-old going well on the far side, Isabel, but as they come through to touch, it is going to be first to touch. Time of 41.33 is Evie Butterworth. Second is Jasmine Davis alongside her, 42.60. And third was Isabel Cowie in 42.83. Heat 5 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Amy Wermeling is in lane 1. She's 13 from Hemel. Alongside her, another 13-year-old, Bethany Hopkins from Harpenden. Lane 3 is Mia Nelson, who's 12 from Cheshunt. She's the youngest in this heat. Torrey Hunt is in lane 4. She's 15 from Stevenage. 2 more 15-year-olds alongside her. 5 is Phoebe Griffiths from Bushy, and 6 Amber Smiths from Ware. Then 2 13-year-olds complete the lineup. Lane 7, Mimi Clinch from St Albans, and lane 8, Liliana Chavinska from Potters Bar. At the moment in lane 6 it is leading the way. Amber Smiths from Ware entered at 41. She's going to have a good swim. There's about 6 swimmers who could all touch second here. As they come through, no doubt who touched first. It's Amber Smiths at a time of 39.96, 1 to 40 seconds. Really close. Amy Wermeling getting second at 41.57. And third to touch was Bethany Hopkins in 41.61. But really close times. Heat 6 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Alexandra Chavinska is in lane 1, 14 from Potters Bar. Lane 2, Imogen Bygrave is 13 from Royston. Lane 3 is Amy Lydiard, who's 15 from Ware. 4, Caitlin Neve Peters, who is 15 from Harpenden. Lane 5 is Zoe Opeo, who's 14 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 6, Liliana Sapala, who's 13 from Hoddesdon. Lane 7, Imogen Azabadi, who's 15 from Verulam. And finally, Sophie Williams in lane 8 is 14 from Royston. Again, very, very close, just being led at the moment by Amy Lydiard in lane 3. Also going well is Alexandra in lane 1. And it's going to be very close between all of them, actually, as they touch. First to touch is Amy Lydiard, a time of 40.20. Second, right behind her, is Alexandra Javinska, who's 40.90. And third to touch was Liliana Sapala in 41.52. Heat 7 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Lane 1 is Tramontano Wells, who's 14 from Hartford. Lane 2 is Valeria Amortini, who's 13 from Berkhamsted. Lane 3 is Neve Ives, who is an 11-year-old. She's the fastest 11-year-old entered in the event from Hatfield at 40.93. See if she can go under 40. Lane 4 is Gemma Adams Rothwell, who's 15 from Ware. 5, Ruby May Chiabra, who's 13 from Watford. 6, Alexandra Giorgio, 14 from Costa. 7, Axina Ivanova, who's 15 from Potters Bar. And Perla Kukaneti, who's 15 from Verulam in lane 8. Perla is right up there at the moment, is Neve Ives, the 11-year-old, who's looking pretty good on this one. Is she going to get through first? And she does. Neve Ives goes 40.51 to take that heat. Second, Ruby May in lane 2 at 40.87. And third was Valeria in lane 2 at 41.3. This is heat 8 to the 50 metres breaststroke. Molly Bartov in lane 1 is 15 from Cheshunt. Lane 2, Summer Iverson, who's 14 from Watford. Lane 3, Molly Greatbatch, who's 13 from Bishop Stortford. In the middle of the pool, 2 Hatfield swimmers. Mercy Adair in lane 4 is 14, and in lane 5, Amelia Costa is 13. Lane 6 is Rose Fawcett, who's 15 from Hitchin. Lane 7 is Amy Whitton, who's 14 from Hatfield. And lane 8 is Emily Grime, who's 15 from Potters Bar. Very close race indeed. We've got 3 or 4 swimmers always are going in front of me in a line, but Summer and Molly in 2 and 3 look really close indeed as they come through to touch. Touch goes to Molly Greatbatch in a time of 38.80. Summer right behind her at 39.09, touching in second place. And third touch there is Emily Grime in 39.37. We've got one missing there. We'll pick it up on the back up, so that might change the result. But we will pick up the backup time if the pad didn't pick up the final touch. So, see if we can pick up Rose's time. Rose's time 41.96. So for those of you on the live feed, we'll just let you know we're just changing a lead on the starter and just making sure we got everything working. And that seems to be a bit better. This is heat 9 of the women's 50 metres breaststroke. Lane 1 is Poppy Saunders, 13 from Hoddesdon. Lane 2 is Summer Boswell, 15 from Hatfield. 3, Molly Seymour, 14 from Hoddesdon. Lane 4 is Angelica Lazaskaita, who's 15 from Watford. Lane 5, Alice Azapadi, who's 14 from St Albans. Lane 6 is Kayla Randall, who's 14 from Watford. And 2 15-year-olds, Isabella Mullings in Lane 7, who's from Cheshunt, and Ellie Sapala in Lane 8 from Hoddesdon. Again, another tight battle. And it's extremely tight. Angelica seems to be in the lead here from Molly and Summer. These three are a little bit clear of the others. As they come through touch, going to be really close. As they touch, very, very close. 300s between them. Molly Seymour getting the touch, 38.21. Angelica second in 38.24. And third to touch was Summer Boswell, time at 38.77. Extremely close race. Can we have the 400 IM swimmers, please? Swimmers for the 400 IM, can they make their way to the marshalling area now, please? Boys for the 400 IM to the marshalling area now, please. Heat 10 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Holly Cuthbert is in lane 1, 15 from Stevenage, and 3 more 15-year-olds alongside her. Hannah Lovelock in 2 from Hitchin, Yahabi in lane 3 from Watford, and lane 4 is April Mills from Hatfield. No swimmer in 5. 6 is Gigi Roberts-Check-Smith, who's 13 from Hatfield. Lane 7 is Eva Ives, who is 14 from Hatfield, and then Verity Fusion. Lane 8 is 13 from Hatfield. This is very close. We've got 5 swimmers all in a row as they come in front of me. No one's going to openly take this one as they touch. It's April Mills who gets it in the middle of the pool, 37.23. Second was Hannah Lovelock in 37.29. The third was Gigi in 37.40. Very, very close. 5, 6 swimmers all on 37 seconds. This is heat 11 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Kate Hopper in lane 1 is 16 from Berkhamsted. Lane 2, Georgina Hamilton, 15 from Costa. 3, Ashley Cooper, 19 from Hitchin. 4, Katrina Dalton, 16 from Tring. Lane 5 is Chloe Simpson, 17 from Watford. 2 15-year-olds in lane 6, Jemima Cross, who's from Hitchin. Lane 7 is Kaylin Hare, who's from Watford. And lane 8 is Layla Odaro Burnett, who is 16 from Hatfield. Very close indeed between lanes 1 and 4, but it's going to be absolutely on the fingertip touch as they touch. It's Kate Hopper who gets it, 36.48, just ahead of Katrina Dalton, 36.59, and third there, right behind them, Georgina Hamilton in a time of 36.92. Very, very close indeed. Can we have the 400 freestylers as well, please? The ladies for the 400 freestyle to the marshalling area as well, please. So the men for the 400 IM and the women for the 400 free, please, to the marshalling area. This is heat 12 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Alexandra Nerney in lane 1 is the fastest 13-year-old entered the event from Hatfield. She's entered 36.72. Lane 2 is Jasmine Meadows, who's 17 from Costa. Lane 3, Ella Norton, 19 from Hatfield. Lane 4, Charlotte Williams, 17 from Hatfield. Lane 5, Ella Greatbatch, who's 15 from Bishop Stortford. And then 3 17s complete line up. Lane 6 is Olivia Riley from Hatfield. 7, Miriam Markdad from Bishop Stortford. And lane 8 is Megan Worley from Watford. Really close between 4 and 5. Charlotte and Ella, really close as they touch. 200s in it. Charlotte Williams gets the touch, 34.22. Ahead of Ella Great Butch's 34.24, 200s between them. Ella Norton touching in third in 35.77. Heat 13 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Victoria Barker in lane 1 is a senior swimmer from Stevenage. Lane 2 is empty. Lane 3 is Alice Green, who's 16 from Hatfield. 4 is Caitlin Hartley, who's 19 from Hatfield. Lane 5, Kirsty Nill, who's 16 from Bishop Stortford. Lucy Crocker in lane 6 is another senior swimmer from Stevenage. Lane 7, Madison Whitaker, who's 19 from Watford. Lane 8 is Rachel Carpenter, who's 16 from Ware. So a couple of seniors in this, which is good to see in the final heats. Leading the way at the moment is Kirsty in lane 4, but coming through to touch, it is going to be Caitlin Hartley who takes it at 33.94, ahead of Kirsty at 34.94, touching in second. Lucy Crocker completes the 1, 2, 3 in third place at 35.29. Come to the final heat, heat 14 of the 50 metres breaststroke. Alice Field in lane 1 is 18 from Ware. Lane 2 is S. Harrison Morara, who's 16 from Hatfield. Lane 3, Megan Gray is 16 from Hatfield. Lane 4 is Ashley Ransom, who's 28 from Hatfield. Lane 5 is Lauren Gore, who's 17 from Bishop Stortford. Levy Brown in lane 6 is 18 from Watford. In lane 7, Isabella Dalton, 17 from Tring. And lane 8 is Georgia Pritchard, who's 18 from Hatfield. Ashley Ransom it is who's leading the way, entered at 31 seconds. Touching first at a time of 33.2. She's got a final to come. Well done to Ashley. As Lauren Gore touching in second, 34.76, and third there is Megan Gray, 35.2. So that completes the first event of this session, which is the breaststroke. We move on to event 502, the men's 400 metres individual medley, and this is going to be swum in 3 heats. Okay, we're just having a look at the pad. So for those of you on the live feed who won't be seeing this, we're changing a timing pad out because we've got a little bit of a problem with it being insecure. This is event 502, the men's 400 metres individual medley. It's going to be swum in 3 heats. This is heat 1 with swimmers in lanes 3, 4 and 5. .400 metres, 16 lengths of the pool, 4 lengths on each stroke for all of these swimmers. And in this first heat, in lane 3, we've got Philippe Irvin, who's 13 from Watford. In lane 4 is Max Lesnar, who is 14 from Pottersmar. And then Jesse Ward in lane 5 is 13 from Hoddesdon. Entry times range from about 6 minutes for Max in the middle to 6:18 for Jesse in lane 5. And Philippe is in lane 3 and he's entered at 6:31. First checkpoint about 38 seconds, 40 seconds for Philippe and Jesse. Max leading the way at the moment. So coming up to the first change in discipline. Fly to back, and as they come up here, in the lead, fastest entrant, Max Lesnar from Pottersmar. Into 6 minutes, of course, the splits all change with the different speeds of the strokes, but he splits at 1:22. Jesse and Philippe are going to turn pretty much together, 1:30 and 1:32, but Philippe just ahead of Jesse, but on the backstroke now, and still looking pretty good. Max in the lead. The other two again pretty close together. Philippe just ahead of Jesse at the moment, but they're going about the same speed. But Max coming up now to his change. He's got a second half of his backstroke, and halfway on the backstroke, he's at 2:06. Philippe is up into second place, holding on to his second place, but he's moved just a little bit further ahead of Jesse at the moment. Philippe turns at 2:21, Jesse 2:23, so still only a couple of seconds between them. That could all change on the breaststroke. Max turning there about 2:29, going into the final length of his backstroke. So Max now into halfway change from back to breast at 2:50, 2 minutes 50.58, going into the breaststroke. But the other two have kept pretty close together, with Philippe in lane 3 ahead of Jesse, but there are 2 seconds between them when they finish the first discipline, and that's going to stay there, 3:09 to 3:11, so they were pretty much the same speed on the backstroke. Now into the breaststroke. Max still looking good up at the front. Philippe and Jesse are both 13, Max is 14 in the middle of the pool. But look at this now, Jesse is looking stronger on the breaststroke than Philippe, and he's now taken back those 2 seconds within the first length. Halfway through for the leader. But now it's switched round between Philippe and Jesse. Jesse looking very strong on the breaststroke. And Jesse turns at 4:02, 4:05, so he's taken about 5 seconds out of Philippe just in the first 50, but that again could all change on the freestyle. In the lead though, Max coming up now to final discipline change into the freestyle. So remember, he's got 100 metres of freestyle to come. He entered at 6 minutes. Looking good to get inside that. And he turns at 4:35.9. into the freestyle. He's got 4 lengths of free to come. Jesse Howard from Hoddesdon entered at 6:18. He's coming up to his final change. And Jesse changed it just under 5 minutes, 4:54.7. Philippe into 6:31, so he was a slower entrant, and he's turning at 5:02. So again, looking good to get inside his entry time. He should be well inside that. So there's 3 good swims in the pool at the moment. And in the lead, Max turns, 50 to go, 5:15 with just 2 lengths of free to go. Lane 5, Jesse, in 13-year-old, entered at 6:18. Remember, Philippe entered at 6:31, so he's going well too in lane 3. But Jesse now turns, 50 to go, 5:39. And Philippe turns with 50 to go, 5:44. But our leader, Max, coming through, entered at 6 minutes, 0.81. Let's see his time. Touches first time of 5:52.82. 5:52.82 for Max. Well done. Jesse Howard being chased down quite hard now by Philippe, but Jesse's going to hang on to his second place. Entered at 6:18, goes 6:21. And Philippe goes 6:23. He entered at 6:31, so that's a big PB. Well done, swimmers. This is heat 2 of the 400 metres individual medley. The lineup for heat 2 is Billy Sill in lane 2. He's 15 from Ware. Lane 3 is Brandon McDonald-Williams, who's 15 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 4, Samuel Howard, 16 from Hoddesdon. Lane 5 is Ryan Ingram, who is 15 from St Albans. Lane 6, Fraser McDonald, 14 from Hatfield. And lane 7, Barnaby O'Donnell, who's 15 from Bushy. Good fast start in lane 2, Billy Sill. Samuel Howard right behind him, that first turn. Can we have the girls to the 400 free, please? They should all be at the marshalling area now. Girls to the 400 free should be at the marshalling area now, please. Go, Bonnie. So, Billy's going to be first to turn at the end of the fly at 68 seconds. And then 70 seconds for Samuel Howard and Ryan Ingram at 71. Brandon at 116, Fraser 119, Barnaby 121. That's the splits at the end of the fly. Billy looking good on the backstroke too in lane 2. Coming up to halfway. Now going after him in lane 5 is Ryan Ingram from Costa. Ryan just a little bit ahead of Samuel and Brandon, but Billy splits a halfway on the backstroke at 150. 153, 154, very close between the chasing 3. But so just leading the way, Ryan from Costa. But Billy hanging on to his lead. Final turn in the backstroke. Got about a 2.5 second lead. But now coming through strongly alongside him is Brandon. Brandon looking very good. Bishop's Stortford swimmer in good on the backstroke there in lane 3. So let's see the splits at the end of the backstroke going into the breaststroke. Billy at 2:31, Brandon 2:31, 2:34 for Ryan, very close there. Samuel just behind at 2:36. Going into the breast, Fraser is at 2:44. Last one to turn will be Barnaby, and Barnaby splits at 2:51. But now going into the lead, Brandon in lane 3. Into 5:41, looking very good. Now Billy struggling on the breaststroke, often happens. Breaststroke and backstroke tend to be odd ones, so these coming up to halfway turn, 3:16. Now up into second place is Ryan Ingram, ahead of Samuel Howard, and then Billy Sill now dropping back into fourth place, the early leader, looking very, very good on the fly. Notice of disqualification, event 5:02, heat 1, lane 5, event 5:02, heat 1, lane 5, disqualified for a technical infraction. Coming up to the end of the breaststroke, and in the lead, and going to be turning first is Brandon, splits at 4:03, 4:04 for Ryan Ingram. Ryan did very well in the second half of that breaststroke. Right behind him, Samuel Howard at 4:05, and then Billy at 4:14 going into the freestyle. Two more coming up to their turns, Fraser and Barnaby, but in the lead now. In lead, Fraser turning at 4:29. Barnaby going into freestyle at 4:32. 2 lengths of freestyle to go. In the lead, Brandon in lane 3, being chased over in lane 5 by Ryan from Costa. Brandon holding on to his lead, and between those two you've got Samuel Howard, but coming in now into the last 10 metres of this heat. Brandon entered at 5:41. He's going to take this, and he finishes first at a time of 5:12.37. Second touch there was Ryan Ingram. He finishes in 5:15, entered at 5:26. Samuel Howard touching third in 5:21, and he entered at 5:20, so pretty much bang on his entry time. Billy, the early leader, finishing in 5:29. He entered at 5:41, so 11-12 second PB for Billy. That's a good swim. Stroking very well, coming in the last few strokes in lane 6 is Fraser, entered at 5:41. He touches in 5:45. And finally, Barnaby O'Donnell entered 5:46. Going to be about his entry time as well, 5:50. Well done, those swimmers. So once again, girls for the 400 free need to be at the marshing area, please. Third and final heat of the men's 400 metres individual medley. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce your final heat as they go to the blocks? Swimming in lane 1 for Hatfield, Daniel Williams. In lane 2 for Watford, Ben Taggart. In lane 3, swimming from Hatfield, Lucas Hartley. In lane 4 from City of St Albans, Daniel Hollis. In lane 5 from Potters Bar, Jack Barnard. In lane 6 from Costa, Kieran Burkitt. And in lane 7 from Hatfield, Samuel Jeffrey, your final heat entrance for the men's 400 metres individual medley. So we've got a 15-year-old in lane 1, Daniel Williams, a couple of 16-year-olds, Ben Taggart and Lucas Hartley alongside him in lanes 2 and 3. 17-year-old in the middle of the pool, Daniel Hollis is the fastest entrant at 4:53, but there are about 2 or 3 more on 4:55, so it's going to be close. Jack Barnard in lane 5 is 18 alongside Kieran Burke, is also 18. 16-year-old Samuel Jeffrey completed the lineup in lane 7. So Dan Williams in lane 1 is the youngest entrant in this final heat, so in terms of the fastest qualifiers. So coming up to the end of the fly, and in the lead at the moment, we've got Kieran Burgett ahead of Jack Barnard and Daniel Hollis. Those three about a half a second each apart. 65 seconds first to turn to Kieran Burgett. Jack Barnard 66.3, Daniel Hollis 66.81. And still looking pretty good. Kieran on the backstroke. He's entered 4:55, so he's right up there as one of the fastest entrants. But we do see a lot where the swimmers who are good at the backstroke are not necessarily as good at the breast and vice versa. So this can turn round quite quickly, but we do know that Kieran is an excellent backstroker and splits at 1:42. You can see the others all chasing, but now coming up quite well is Samuel Jeffrey, 16-year-old from Hatfield in lane 7, who's looking good on the backstroke. Along with Daniel in lane 4 and Jack Barnard in lane 5. Good battle in the first 3 lanes with Daniel Williams, Ben Taggart and Lucas Hartley all pretty much together at the moment, coming down to their final turn on the backstroke. But in the lead, Kieran Burkett. Kieran looking very good on the backstroke. Coming up now to change into the breaststroke. And see his split time. He splits at 2:18.52 going into the breast. Next is Samuel Jeffrey, 2:22. Daniel Hollis, 2:24. Jack Barnard, 2:24.9. It's about a second behind. Then Lucas Hartley, 2:29. As is Ben Taggart, as is Daniel Williams, all within a second or half a second of each other. Kieran still hanging on to the lead at the moment, looking pretty good. But being reeled in gently by Samuel over in lane 7 and coming through very powerfully on the breaststroke. Daniel Hollis, again a very accomplished breaststroker, and you can see how much he's taken out of him on that 50 metres. It's amazing how this back and breast does seem to switch on the IM. Coming down now into the second 50, and now we're seeing Daniel Hollis from St Albans, who's a good breaststroker, as you can see. Now coming up alongside Kieran Burke, who's an excellent backstroker, and Samuel Jeffrey now coming alongside Kieran as well. 1 length to go, 3:24. 3:24 before they change into the freestyle. In the lead, Daniel Hollis. And Daniel is going to go into the freestyle with a couple of seconds over Kieran Burkett, but that's going to be good. So Daniel Hollis entered at 4:53, splits at 3:43. Kieran 3:46, 3:46 for Samuel Jeffrey. Ben Taggart 3:49, 3:51s for both Lucas Hartley and Jack Barnard. But still hanging on to his lead. There's Daniel Williams splitting there at the back at 4:01. Bearing in mind he is a 15-year-old amongst these others, so he's the youngest in this final heat. Daniel Hollis looking very good on the freestyle as well. 4:53, he's got 2 lengths of free to go. 4:18.9. And then 4:22 for Kieran, 4:23 for Samuel, 4:24 for Jack Barnard, Ben Taggart at 4:24 as well. 4:26 Lucas Hartley, so it's going to be close for the minor places. In the lead, looks very clear. Daniel Hollis from St Albans entered at 4:53. He looks nailed on for the gold. Going to be close behind him. Kieran looks good for the silver, but we'll see if he can hang on. Very fast finish coming through as well. Touching first, 4:52.98. The gold medal provisionally going to Daniel Hollis. Second, Kieran Burkett, silver medalist provisionally at 4:55.99. And then third, Jack Barnard coming through really strongly, 4:56.06 to take third on the touch on that one. If you can make your way out of the pool, please, make your way to the side, please. Excellent race there. Lead changing hands as they went through the different disciplines. We now come up to our final event of, no, we've got two actually, we've got a freestyle after this. Next one is event 503, the women's 400 metres freestyle. It's going to be swum in 5 heats, and we're going to need the men for the 200 metres freestyle to the marshalling area now. Men for the 200 freestyle to the marshalling area now, please. This is event 503, the 400 metres freestyle for women, and this is heat number 1 with swimmers in lanes 3, 4 and 5. Isla Cayley is in lane 3. From Watford, lane 4 is Neve Ives, who's from Hatfield. Isabel Cowie is in lane 5 from Watford. All are 11 years old. Entry times range from the middle of the pool at 5:51. 6:10 for Isabel in lane 5, and Isla in lane 3 is into 6:25. So on paper there should be a big gap between them, not much after the first 50. 40 seconds, 39 for the leader, the other two both on 40. In the lead, Neve Ives. So this is the first checkpoint at 100 metres, 1:22 for Neve Ives. Isabel Cowie at 1:24.9, 1:26.6 for Isla. Coming up to 150. At 150 metres, we'll just see the split times. Neve Ives 2:07, Isabel Cowie 2:10, and Isla 2:13. Have a notice of disqualification, event 502, heat 1, lane 5. Event 502, heat 1, lane 5, disqualified for a technical infraction. So when they get to the start end, this will be 200 metres. So still in the lead. Neve Ives, 2:52 at halfway. Halfway for Isabel is 2:57. And Isla at halfway is 3:01. 3:01. So entry times are all well inside the times they need to beat their entries. So looking good on the splits at the moment. Still in the lead. Neve Ives, 11-year-old, entered at 5:51. This is 250. And still not much behind to use between the behind. The Mother and Isabel spreading themselves out just a little bit now, but in the lead still. Neve turns at 4 minutes. She's going to be at 300 metres, three-quarter distance with just 100 to go. So entered at 5:51. Going to be well inside that if she can keep this going. Coming up now, just 4 lengths to go. 100 metres to go, and at 300 metres she splits at 4:21.89 for Neve. Isabel Cowie entered at 6:10 and she splits at 4:29, so again a good split time for her. Isla entered at 6:25, splits at 4:34. So again, they're all swimming very fast, but spread out because they're all at a slightly different pace. The coming in now, just 50 to go when she gets to this end of the pool. Our leader, Neve Ives from Hatfield. $50 to go, 5:05.94. Isabel Cowie, 50 to go, 5:14.54. Isla with 50 to go at 5:20. So Neve, final length as she turns now, 5:29. Gradually tying up in this last 100, but she's still going well, digging hard in this last 10 metres. Remember her entry time, 5:51.76. She tied up a little bit at the end, goes 5:49.94, goes inside her entry time. Isabel Cowie entered at 6:10, goes way under that, 5:57.55. And Isla entered at 6:25 and goes 6:02.64, around about a 20-odd second PB. Well done, swimmers. Can you clear the pool to the side, please, if you could make your way? So line up in the second heat. Nelson, who is 12 from Cheshunt. Lane 2 is Paige Goldhawk, who's 14 from Hoddesdon. 3 is Jasmine Pereira, who's 15 from Hatfield. Lane 4, Anna Beverstock, who is 14 from Hatfield. She's the fastest entrant at 5:05. Angelica Lazizkata, who's in lane 5. She's 15 from Watford. Lane 6. Cassandra Pereira, who is 13 from Hatfield. Lane 7, Olivia Croft, who's 12 from Cheshunt, and lane 8, Charlotte Stewart, who is the youngest in this heat, 11-year-old from Costa. She's the fastest 11-year-old entered in the event at 5:48. I've just seen 3 11-year-olds swimming very fast in front of her, so we'll see how that pans out at the end. Coming up to the first 100 metres checkpoint, in the lead, the fastest entrant, Honor, but 3 other swimmers right behind her. One turns at 1:11, and then Jasmine, Angelica and Cassandra all turning at 1:12, Paige at 1:14, 1:15s for Mia in lane 1 and Olivia in lane 7, and 1:16 for Charlotte, the 11-year-old in lane 8. But Honor just easing away now from her teammate alongside her, Jasmine, who's now just moved a little bit clear of Angelica in lane 5 and Cassandra in lane 6, who are swimming pretty much together at the moment, just behind Jasmine. So Honor coming up to halfway here, she turns here. 200 metres, let's see Honor's time, and she splits at 2:26.57. Jasmine 2:29.42, and then right behind her Cassandra 2:32, also 2:32 for Angelica, Paige at 2:35, 2:36 Mia, Olivia 2:37, and then Charlotte at 2:41.9. They're the halfway splits. But easing away, Honor in the middle. Honor is going well, going into the beginning of the second half of the race. And now comfortably up into second place is Jasmine. Very, very close behind her though, between Angelica and Cassandra. Fighting it out for third place with Cassandra now just starting to ease about half a metre clear of Angelica. So this will be 300 metres when the leader gets to the turn. See Honor's turn, with 100 metres to go. 3:39.9. Jasmine at 3:45. And then the battle of a third, very close still. Cassandra 3:50, Angelica at 3:52. Paige 3:56 at 300, 3:57 for Mia, Olivia 3:59. And the last one to turn at 300 is Charlotte at 4:08. Just 2 lengths to go for the leader. 4:16, 2 lengths to go. Honor entered at 5:05, so she should get inside her entry time. Jasmine 5:06 she entered, she got 2 lengths to go, she got 4:22. So leader turns 4:34 with just 1 length to go. Honor Baverstock. Honor Baverstock at Hatfield swimmer, 5:05, 14-year-old. As she comes up, we'll keep an eye on the time. And Honor's going to take this in a time of 4:51.70. Excellent time, way under the 5-minute mark. Jasmine entered at 5:06, goes 4:59. Well done to her, breaking the 5-minute mark. Cassandra entered at 5:08. She touches in third at 5:05, so again inside her entry time. Angelica entered at 5:06. She's going to be just outside that at 5:11. And then Paige 5:14. Olivia 5:18, and Mia at 5:18 as well, fractionally behind her. Last few strokes, Charlotte Stewart entered at 5:48, so remember that, she's only 11 years old, youngest one in this heat, and she goes 5:34, so around about 15 seconds inside her entry time. Well done to all those swimmers. This is heat 3 of the 400 metres freestyle. So got this heat and 2 more to come. And in this one, Chloe Alton is in lane 1. She's 15 from Potters Bar. Another 15-year-old at a great batch is in lane 2 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 3, Chloe Simpson, who's 17 from Watford, and another 17-year-old alongside her. In lane 4 is Florence Crowley from Costa. Harpendon's Lucinda Stanley is in lane 5. She's 19. And then we've got 3 Costa swimmers in lane 6, 7 and 8. In 6, Ava Black, who's 16. In lane 7, Georgina Hamilton, who's 15. And then a 13-year-old who's the youngest in this heat. There's another 13-year-old to come in the next heat, but Costa's Daisy Jubb is in lane 8. So as we come up to the 100-metre split, first to turn is Ava Black at 68.47, and Florence Cowley 69, Chloe Simpson 69 as well. The Great Batch also 69, and a couple on 70s and 72s for the outside 2 lanes for Daisy and Chloe. So 150, and Ava's still in the lead at 144 from Florence and Chloe, and then Ella Greatbatch and Lucinda. Very close though at this stage, still in the middle of the pool, but pulling away in lane 6. Ava Black from Costner. She entered 3:57, so she is one of the fastest entrants in this heat. There's a few of them all around that time. She's going to come up to 200 metres now, so let's see Ava Black at 200. And Ava's going to split first at 2:21, 2:22 from Florence Cowley, only a second and a half behind her. Chloe Simpson 2:24, Lucinda Stanley 2:26, Ella Greatbatch 2:26, 2:27 Georgina Hamilton, 2:29 Chloe Alton, and then 2:31 for Daisy Jubb. That's the halfway. So getting closer in the middle of the pool now though. These two getting a lot closer. With Ava still hanging on to her lead, but it's now down to less than half a second from Florence Crowley. Florence putting in a big third 100 here, but Ava's responding quite well now. She's realised this and she's digging in a bit harder. These two teammates looking at each other, turn pretty much together at 3:18. Behind them, Chloe Simpson from Watford in lane 3, trying to also pull away from the others in the third place, but it's going to be really close now as they come up to the end here. And as they turn at 300 metres, it's now Florence Crawley in the lead, 3:36, 3:36.5 for Ava. Chloe Simpson 3:40. Lucinda and Ella both on 3:42. Georgina 3:43, 43:47 for Chloe Alton, and Daisy at 3:50 with just 100 metres to go. And it's got a great battle in the middle of the pool here. We've got still in the lead Lucinda hanging on, Florence rather, hanging on to this from Ava. It's only half a second between them with 50 to go. 4:12, 4:13. It's very close, but a really good turn in lane 4 by Florence. Pulled her clear of Ava there, got about another half a metre. Ava trying to respond in second place. Ava is responding, upping her stroke rate into the last length, but in the lead, it's Florence Crawley from St Albans, from her teammate, Ava Black. Ava trying to sprint to catch Florence, but I think Florence is going to hold on now with just 5 metres to go. As they touch, first to touch there, in a time of 4:47.16. Florence Crawley, Ava Black in second, 4:48.96. Third to touch there was Chloe Simpson and 4:54. 4:56 for Georgina Hamilton, 4:57 for Ella Greatbatch. 5 minutes for Lucinda Stanley, Chloe Alton in 5:02, and finally there Daisy Jubb finishes in 5:08. Great race between those two at the front. Well done, swimmers. Heat 4 of the 400 metres freestyle. So all men for 200 freestyle should be at the marshalling area now. Kate Hopper is in lane 1. She's 16 from Berkhamsted. Lane 2, Millie Richardson, who's 17 from Hatfield. 3, Hannah Lovelock, who's 15 from Hitchin. Lane 4, Emma Fields, who is 17 from Bishop Stortford. In the middle of the pool, lane 5, we've got Alexandra Nerney from Hatfield. She's 13. She's the fastest 13-year-old entered in the event. Entry time of 4:50, so keep an eye on that. Evie Thompson in lane 6 is 18 from Hitchin. Lane 7, Erin Younger, who's 16 from Costa. And lane 8 is a 14-year-old, another young swimmer from Hatfield, Antonia Elias. But there is another 14-year-old, believe it or not, in the middle of the pool in the final heat. So she's going to have to swim pretty fast to put pressure on her in that final heat. So they're all coming up now to the 100 split. In the lead, Erin Younger in lane 7 from Evie Thompson in 6, Alexandra Nerney in 5. As they turn, Erin Younger 67, then 68 for Evie, Alexandra 68, Emma Field 68, 69 for Kate Hopper, and then 69 and 70s for the others, 71 for Antonia. So they're coming up to 150, still holding on to the lead. Erin Younger, Costa swimmer, out in lane 7, but coming under pressure now from Evie Thompson inside her, from Hitchin, and also from Alexandra. Those three, 144 through to 145.2. And you can see how close this is. There are still about 6 swimmers who are all right up there on this one. But still leading the way in lane 7, Erin Younger. Erin now just pushing in hard. She's just got a little bit more over Evie Thompson, who has got Alexandra on her, right on her shoulder, and Emma right on her shoulder. This is really close. Also coming up well now is Kate Hopper in lane 1. Halfway, Erin Younger, 221. Alexandra Nerney, 222. 222 for Evie Thompson. Emma Fields also up there. 222, 223 for Kate Hopper, 223 and 224 for all 3 of the others. So really close at halfway. But Erin Younger is definitely pulled out of just maybe another half an arm length here. But now coming into second place is Alexandra Nerney. And it's Alexandra Nerney who's turned second there now, ahead of Evie Thompson. And then Hannah Lovelock. But it's very, very close on the minor positions at the moment. But Erin Younger is now gradually getting reeled in by Alexandra Nerney in lane 5. And also now going alongside her, Emma Fields has upped her stroke in this third 100. These 3, and also alongside now Hannah Lovelock with 100 to go. Erin Younger, 3:35 in the lead. Alexandra Nerney now 3:36. 3:36 Emma Field. Evie Thompson 3:37. 3:37 also right behind her is Hannah Lovelock. Very, very close indeed. When they get to the end here, there'll be 50 to go, and you can see now a big push coming through for lane 4. Excellent final 100. Emma Fields from Bishop Stortford entered at 4:47, having a very good last 100. As they turn, it's Emma Fields from Erin Younger, Alexandra Nerney, Hannah Lovelock, Evie Thompson, Millie Richardson and Kate Hopper. Very close, but now a great last 100 metres. Emma Fields from Bishop Stortford, she's pushing really hard. Turns now at 4:27. About 2 seconds clear. In second place is Alexandra Nerney. Alexandra still coming under pressure from Erin Younger, who's coming back now, but coming into touch first. Winning time of 4:45 is Emma Fields. Second to touch, Alexandra Nerney, 4:47.21. Third, Erin Younger got back there at 4:48.27. Fourth, Evie Thompson, 4:48. Hannah Lovelock, 4:49. Kate Hopper, 4:50. 4:51, Millie Richards, and Antonia, 4:55. Clear the pool, please, swimmers. Can you clear out of the pool to the side, please, swimmers? As we come to our final heat, so please can you welcome your final heat swimmers, the fastest entrant in this event, as they take their places at the blocks. Lane 2 from Hatfield, Charlotte Williams. In lane 3, also from Hatfield, Camille Vanier. In lane 4, also from Hatfield, Jessica Keogh. In lane 5, also from Hatfield, Eva Ives. In lane 6, from Bishop Stortford, Misha Trent Evans. In lane 7, also from Bishop Stortford, Kirsty Neal. And finally in lane 7 from Watford, Neva Mora. Your finalists in the women's 400 metres freestyle final heat. So of course they could all be beaten by someone from the previous heat. These are just the fastest entrant, not necessarily the finalists in the 400. But these are the fastest entrants, and the entry times range from 4:37 for Jessica Keogh, who's a 19-year-old in the middle. Eva Ives, ever in lane 5, is 14, and she's entered at 4:38. So keep an eye on her. Very fast for a 14-year-old in the county. Caitlin Hare turning first at 31 seconds at 50. In lane 1, just ahead of Charlotte. So close at this early stage, and with lanes 1 and 2 and 8 looking pretty good at the moment. So the outside lanes, the slower entrants, looking very good at this in the first 100. So coming up to the 100-metre mark, and it's probably going to be Caitlin from Charlotte Williams turning. So Caitlin Hare turning first, 1:06, 1:07 Charlotte Williams. Jessica Keogh 1:07, 1:07 also for Misha Trent Evans at the 100-metre split. It's 150, and you're now seeing the faster entrants also coming through a little bit, but still in the lead after 150 is Caitlin Hare, who's 142, a split 143 and 143 for also for Charlotte and for Misha. Also coming through now over in lane 6 is Misha. She's now lifted herself comfortably up there, and as we get to halfway, I expect Misha's going to be right up there with the leaders. Alongside her is Eva in lane 5, and she's also going well. So we've now got Misha and Eva, but still got Kaylin and Charlotte in lanes 1 and 2. They're also there. We've got 4 turning all together. 2:19 for Charlotte, Kaylin, Eva, Misha Trent Evans, and also for Jessica Keogh. But that's the order at halfway. As they move into the second half. And now coming through in lane 4, the fastest entrant in this, Jessica Keogh, entered 4:37. She's now right up there with Charlotte Williams. They're going to turn first and second, both on 2:54. Eva Ives and Kaylin Hare on 2:55, as is Misha Trent Evans. Camille Vanier up 2:46 as well. but in the lead. Jessica, but still up there with them. Charlotte Williams in lane 2 having a good swim. This is 300 metres, just 100 to go. And Charlotte Williams is picking up as well. As they turn, it's Jessica Keogh, 3:29, Charlotte, 3:29, 3:30 Eva, Kaylin at 3:31, 3:31 for Misha, Camille Vanier, 3:32, 3:36 for Kirsty, and 3:37 for Neve. With just 100 to go. But a big acceleration now from Jessica Keogh in the middle of the pool. Jessica trying to ease away a little bit from Charlotte Williams, but Charlotte's having a very good swim here in lane 2. Jessica Keogh entered at 3:37. Charlotte 3:42, 50 to go. Just turns at 4:02. Charlotte 4:03, 4:06 behind them for Eva, and then Misha Trent Evans and Kaylin. Camille Vanier with 50 to go at 4:09. Kirsty at 4:12 and 4:14 for Neve. Final turn, 4:19 in the lead. Jessica Keogh. And Jessica Keogh ahead of Charlotte Williams. Charlotte's not going to be able to get on terms with her. Big sprint finish coming from Eva and Misha Trent Evans. But coming through to the last 2 strokes, touching first, a winning touch and time of 4:35.04 is to Jessica Keogh, provisionally gold medalist. And then Charlotte Williams touching second, 4:37.61. Third to touch there, Eva Ives at 4:38, 4:39 Misha Trent Evans. Kaylin Hare, 4:40, and then Camille Vanier, 4:44, and then Kirsty Neal, 4:49 and 4:50 for Neve O'Mara. That completes the 400. Can you make your way out of the pool, please? Can you make your way out of the side of the pool, please, swimmers? So that brings us to our final set of heats for this session. We have the finals coming up, but this is event 504, the men's 200 metres freestyle. This is going to be swum in 9 heats. And this is heat 1 with swimmers in lanes 3, 4 and 5. So back to half the distance this one, 8 lengths of the pool for the men in the freestyle. We've got Hugo Hartley in lane 3, who's 11 from Watford. He's entered at 3:01, and we got in lane 4, Leo Sims, who's 10 from Hertford. He's entered at 2:55, and then in lane 5, George Sims, who is another 10-year-old from Hertford, and George, swimming alongside his brother at 2:56. They got very close entry times. Hopefully Hugo will go under 3 minutes, as will the others, but 50 metres, first to turn, is George Sims at 36. 37 for Hugo and 37 for Leo. So when they get to the back to the start end, this will be halfway. And let's see what the splits are like. Remember, they're all just in and around the 3-minute mark as their entry times. So George is going to turn first at 1:18, so well inside the split he needs to do that. 1:20 for Leo, and then 1:21 for Hugo. So they're all swimming faster than their entry times on the splits at the moment. So when they get to the start end, they'll have 2 lengths to go. Coming up to 150, still in the lead. George Sims from Hertford. He turns at 2:01. Right behind him is Leo at 2:04, and then 2:06 for Hugo. So all going very, very well and very fast. Coming up to his final turn, George Sims from Hertford, looking for an entry time 2:56. He's at 2:23 with 1 length to go, 2:26 for his brother, and then 2:29 for Hugo. Should all go under 3 minutes. So George entered 2:56.43. Let's look at his time as he touches first at 2:42.61. Alongside him is Leo, entered 2:47. He goes 2:47 rather in this, and 2:50 for Hugo, all way inside their entry times. Well done, swimmers. This is heat 2 of the men's 200 metres freestyle. So all 8 lanes in use in this second heat. Thomas Fennick in lane 1 is 12 from Verulam. Lane 2 is Philippe Irvin, who's 13 from Watford. 3, James Hallam, who's 13 from Harpen. And 4, Gabriel Taggart, who's 13 from Watford. Senior swimmer Mark Evans is in lane 5. He's an S14 swimmer from Hitchin. Lane 6 is Thomas Johnson, who's 13 from Hatfield. Lane 7, 11-year-old Montgomery Brewster from Watford. Lane 8 is Archie Clark, who's 12 from Costa. So, few to keep an eye on there. 34-35 seconds at the first split. The fastest 11-year-old entered in the event here. Montgomery Brewster in lane 7. Watford swimmer into 2:44. So this is going to be 100 metres when they get to the turn, and leading the way. Gabriel Taggart entered at 2:35. He's a 13-year-old, splits at 1:10. Close behind him, James Hallam at 1:14. Thomas Johnson 1:14, 1:16 Philippe Irvin, Thomas Fennick 1:17, and then the others at 1:18 and 1:19. So a nice lead for our lane 4 swimmer, Gabriel Taggart. So at 250 metres. He's got about 5 metres ahead of his rivals, who are James in lane 3 and over in lane 6, Thomas Johnson. Both are 54, about 5 seconds between first and then second and third. About the same between second and third, and then fourth, fifth and sixth. So, coming into the last 10 metres. Great battle for second and third, but in the lead, Gabriel entered at 2:35. He takes it at a time of 2:27.78. Second to touch there at a time of 2:31.43, James Hallam. Thomas Johnson just getting in third there, just getting out-touched at 2:32. And then look how close it was. A few hundreds between Philip Irvin in fourth at 2:39.51, 2:39.6, Thomas Fennick in fifth. Very close indeed behind. This is heat 3 of the 200 metres freestyle. Lineup of heat 3 is Konstantin Kaliafas in lane 1, who's 12 from Watford. Lane 2 is Joshua Tyack, who's 14 from Tring. Lane 3, Elliot Hall, 13 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 4, Fraser McDonald, who is 14 from Hatfield. Lane 5, Max Lesnar, who is 14 from Potters Bar. Another 14-year-old, Charlie Stott, in lane 6 is from Costa. And two 13-year-olds in lane 7 is Ryan Whipney, who's from Cheshunt. In lane 8, Mikhail Zarinov, who's 13 from Hitchin. So we've got the, what I believe is the fastest 12-year-old in the entered in the event. Constantine in lane 1, he's entered at 2:31.97. Leading the way at the moment now, alongside him is Joshua Tyke, Tring swimmer, 14-year-old, and at 2:30. This is halfway. So let's look at the halfway splits. In the lead, Joshua Tyke, 66 seconds. Fraser McDonald, 67.9. Charlie Stott, 69. 69 also for Constantine. Ryan Whitney, 70 seconds, as is Max Lesnar. And then 72 seconds for the other two swimmers, Elliot and Mikhail. So 50 metres to go when they get to this turn. Good swim by Joshua. Ends at 2:30 with 50 to go. He's at 1:42. 1:45 for Fraser McDonald, and then 1:48 for Charlie Stott, Max Lesnar in third and fourth. Elliot is up there in 5th place. But our leader turning at 2 minutes. Josh Tyke, 2 minutes, so he's going to get a great time. Joshua Tyke, 14-year-old. He's going to take this. Behind him, it looks like it's going to be Fraser McDonald, who's also a 14-year-old from Hatfield, who's finishing fast. But as Joshua comes in, touches first. Winning time of 2:18.36. Fraser, 2:20.71, touched in second. Third to touch, Max Lesnar at 2:24. 2:25.38, Elliot Hall. Then Charlie Stott, 2:27. And then Mikhail Zarinov, 2:37, and Ryan Whitney, 2:27, 2:30, Ryan Whitney, and 2:32 for Constantine. Can we have the girls for the breaststroke finals, please? The breaststroke finalists, girls, can they make their way to the marshalling area now, please? The girls for the breaststroke finals to the marshalling area now, please. Heat 4 of the 200 metres freestyle. Kabir Patel in lane 1 is excuse me. Kabir is 14 from Potters Bar. Lane 2 is Joe Kay, who's 14 from Hatfield. Lane 3, Lewis Perry, 14 from Watford. Lane 4, Luca Bertosapadin, who's 14 from Potters Bar. Lane 5, Joe Grinnell, who's 15 from Hitchin. Lane 6 is Daniel Urban, who's also 15 from Watford. Then 12-year-old Perrin Marr. So actually it was a faster 12-year-old, I beg your pardon, Hatfield. Perrin Marr in lane 7. Similar time to our other competitor. See how he gets on. Alexander Mordenti in lane 8 is 14 from Potters Bar. So we'll see how Perrin gets on against Constantine. Paper should be faster. Halfway. 100-metre split. Kabir in the lead at 1:07. 68 for Luca. Lewis at 69. 69 for Daniel. Joe Kay 69. And also 69 for Alexander in lane 8. So very close behind Kabir, but Kabir is quite a long way clear at the moment. He's about a metre and a half clear of the chasing 2, and Luca in 4 and Daniel in 6. Kabir at 1:43 with 50 to go, 1:45 and 1:46 for Daniel and Luca. Joe Kay 1:46 as well, so he's coming up too. So good battle for the minor places, but in the lead still, Kabir Patel. He hits the final turn, 2:01. Very close behind, 2:05. Very close indeed between lane 6, Daniel, and in lane 4, Luca. These two battling out. Luca just pushing on a little bit, but no doubt who's going to touch first, Kabir Patel, and he touches a winning time of 2:18.18. Second to touch is Luca at 2:22.09. 2:23.02. Third to touch was Joe Kay out of Daniel Urban, 2:23.38. Heat 5 of the 200 metres freestyle. William Harris in lane 1 is 14 from Watford. Lane 2 is Niccolo Camalotti, who's 13 from Hatfield. Two 13-year-olds in this heat. And they appear to be the fastest two 13-year-old enters in the event. Ryan Ingram is 15 from Costa. Lane 4 is Robert Gore, who's 15 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 5, Zach Fellows, 14 from Costa. Lane 6 is Bo Riley, who's 15 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 7, Chok Kin Lao, who's 13, the other 13-year-old from Costa. And then William Barr in lane 8 is 15 from Royston. Zach Fellows leading the way at the moment, but you can see how close it is. There's a line across the pool. All 8 swimmers are in this at the moment after 50 metres. Coming up now to the halfway split, 100 metres. Now pulling out, got a good second 50, Robert Gore. In the lead at 65. He's about a second clear of William Harris in 66 in second. Zach Fellows 66 in third place at the moment at halfway. Lot on 66 and 67. There's really not much between any of these swimmers at the moment. Trying to push on really hard in the lead. It's Robert Gore in the lead, and he's having a good third 50 as well, but now coming up alongside him, Zach Fellows in lane 5 trying to come through, as well as Niccolo and William in lanes 1 and 2, but with 50 to go, Robert Gore splits at 140, 141s for Zach, Niccolo and William Harris in that order, 142 for Ryan Ingram and William Barr. So close for second, third and fourth. And fifth in fact, and in the lead though, still Robert Gore hanging on to this. Big sprint coming through also from Niccolo in lane 2. And also in lane 1, William Harris trying to get there as well. These two really, really sprinting. But Robert's going to hang on to it. 2:14.36 takes it. Robert Gore in first place. Second to touch, Niccolo Camalotti finishing very fast, 2:15.32. Just ahead of William Harris, 2:15.49, touching in third. Heat 6 of the men's 200 metres freestyle. Holtis Sklaventis is in lane 1. Apologies, I don't know what the R stands for on that one from Hatfield. He's 15. Lane 2 is Luke Barnard, who's 14 from Costa. Lane 3, Billy Sill, who's 15 from Ware. No swimmer in 4. Brandon McDonald-Williams in lane 5 from Bishop Stortford. Lane 6 is Max Hosier, who's 14 from Hoddesdon. Dylan Davenport in lane 7 is from Bishop Stortford, he's 14. And lane 8, Samuel Trigwell, 15 from Watford. Halfway at 100 metres. Brandon in the lead at 63. 63 for Luke Barnard. Samuel 64 in third place at halfway. Have a notice of disqualification. Event 504, heat 5, lane 3. Event 504, heat 5, lane 3, disqualified for a technical infraction. Turning pretty much together, Luke and Brandon. Luke's caught him now, both at 1:38, first and second. 1:40s for Samuel and Dylan. In lanes 7 and 8, 8 and 7. They're really close. This is going to be a great battle coming through. As they turn, coming into the final length. And in the lead, Brandon has pulled it out a little bit. Going to be very, very close for second and third. Brandon takes it, touching first in a time of 2:12.37. Really close to second and third. Second was 2:13 was Luke Barnard, and Samuel Trigwell was Dylan Davenport 2:13.2. 10 hundredths behind him. That was very close in third. Max Hosier was in fourth place. Heat number 7 of the 200 metres freestyle. Samuel George in lane 1 is 17 from Hatfield. Lane 2 is Hitchens George Lovelock, who's 18. Lane 3, Joshua Ellis is 17 from Hatfield, and it's 2 more 17-year-olds from Hatfield alongside. Lane 4 is Oliver Blight, and lane 5 is Jason Ho. Lane 6, George Hooper, 16 from Costa. Lane 7, Hugo Rabatsik-Smith, who's 15 from Hatfield. And lane 8, Sam Ryan, who is 15 from Watford. Jason in the lead at 50, 28.2, 28.3 for Josh. These two looking very close. Closely matched. And it is Jason very, very, very slightly ahead of Josh, but Josh now easing up alongside him. They're going to turn absolutely together, these two. And they do at 58.7, 59 third place at Oliver Blight. Halfway, 61s for George Hugo and George Hooper, and also for Samuel. 66, Sam Ryan at halfway. Great battle at the front, very close indeed. Josh Ellis in lane 3 and Jason Ho in lane 5. And between them, you've got Oliver Blight, but there's those two. Josh are fractionally ahead of Jason, but really nothing between them. Both at about the 129.8 mark. Oliver Blight, 130, 133, George Hooper, Hugo and George, both 134, 137 for Samuel. 140, Sam Ryan. But look at this sprint finish coming in now. Jason Ho in lane 5, Joshua Ellis in 3, Oliver in 4. And that, I think, is how they're going to touch. First to touch there, Jason Ho, winning time, 2 minutes, 0.83. Second to touch, Joshua Ellis, 2:01.19. And third, Oliver Wright, 2:02.05. So a very close race. Well done, swimmers. Penultimate heat 8 of the men's 200 metres freestyle. James Gibson in lane 1 is 15 from Watford. Lane 2, Luke Martell, 17 from Potters Bar. Lane 3, Lucas Hartley is 16 from Hatfield. And lane 4, Nathaniel Mapley, who is 17 from Costa. He's the fastest entrant. He's the only one in this heat who is under 2 minutes on the entry times. The last 3 heats are all spearheaded and mixed up, so the final heat isn't the fastest. The final 3 are all pretty much the same. Daniel Belzy is in lane 5. He's 18 from Hatfield. Lane 6 is Ben Davison. Sorry, he's 15 from Hatfield, Daniel is. Lane 6 is Ben Davison, is 18 from Hatfield. Lane 7, Jacob Hayes, 16 from Bishop Stortford, and Toby Martin in lane 8 is 16 from Harpenden. So as I said, the final 3 heats all mixed up. So because there will be a final. 59 seconds at halfway. Nathaniel Mapley in the lead. Daniel Belsey 60 seconds for Ben Davison. Toby Martin 60 as well. And then 61s and 62s for the others. Still in the lead though, Nathaniel Mapley. But only just from Daniel Belsey. Daniel now coming right back on his shoulder. These two are going to turn absolutely together. Nathaniel and Daniel turn absolutely together. 131, 133 for Ben Davison. Lucas 133, also Toby Martin 133. 134s for Luke and Toby as well. So very close behind them. But now stretching out in lane 5. Daniel Belsey from Hatfield. Now he's got an entry time of 2 minutes, 0.98. Going to be close to 2 minutes as he comes up to touch. Not going to quite get there. 2 minutes, 0.48. Excellent swim by him, just outside that 2 minute mark. 203.47. Second was Nathaniel Mapley. 203.85 was Ben Davison touching in third. Remember, there is a final to come. So the final heat is the men's 200 metres freestyle. Danny Williams in lane 1 is 15 from Hatfield. Lane 2 is Chun Ting Yao, who is 16 from Harpenden. Then we've got 4 17-year-olds altogether. In lane 3, Alexander Kleberbor, who's from Costa. Lane 4, Callum Cox from Bishop Stortford. Lane 5, Andrew Tembro, who's from Costa. And lane 6, Kai Adams from Potters Bar. Thomas Hooper in lane 7 is 18 from Costa. And then a 16-year-old on the outside, Bishop Stortford's George Grimwood. So we've got a 15-year-old in this one as well. Daniel Williams in lane 1. First to turn there, though, at the early turn is Kai Adams from Potters Bar, who's still in the lead at the moment, but now coming up alongside him is Andrew Tembra, and also now making inroads into that Alexander Kleberbor. These 3 are going to turn pretty nearly at the same time at 59 seconds, 60 seconds for Callum Cox, Thomas Hooper, Daniel Williams at 61 along with Chun. 62 at halfway for George Grimwood. So when they get the end here, they'll have 50 to go. So all to swim for here. Remember, there is a final coming up, so there may be some tactical swimming going on, but we got 3 swimmers still there, all turning absolutely together. Callum, Andrew and Alexander all turning at 130, 131. Kai Adams and Thomas Hooper 132 and 133. Final turner yet again, those 3 still turning together. Into the last 10 metres. It's going to be very close. Callum Cox now easing clear a little bit. Bishop Stortford swimmer in lane 4. Touching first, Callum at 2:01.05. 2:01.83 second was Alexander Claverwell, and third Andrew Tembra at 2:01.89. Kai Adams was fourth in 2:05.02. Tony Williams, a 15-year-old, got 2:08.16. So that completes all of the heats of the events for this session, and we now come up to the finals. Going straight on, which is a bit silly. We now come to our finals for this session, and we're going to start this with event 505, the women's 10 and 11 years 50 metres breaststrokes final. Please welcome your finalists to the blocks. Leading off in lane 1 from Stevenage, Amelia Clark. Lane 2 from Stevenage, Tilly Pickersgill. Lane 3 from Watford, Isla Cayley. Lane 4 from Hatfield, Neve Ives. Lane 5 from Watford, Isabel Cowie. Lane 6 from Bushy, Dorothea Ward. Lane 7 from Stevenage, from Watford, Esme Hui. Lane 8 from from Stevenage, Yaxi Tong, your finalist for the girls 50 metres breaststroke. So coming up to the halfway split. And coming into the final 10 metres in the lead in lane 4. Neve Ives from Hatfield entered at 40 seconds. Great battle behind her. Looks like it's Isabella Cowie in second place. Just but touching first, Neve Ives. Subject to confirmation is the gold medalist, the winning time of 40.85. Look how close that was for second. Provisionally second and silver medalist Isabella Cowie in 44.58, and third Isla in 44.76. How close was that? Can you clear the pool to the side, please? So really close for silver and bronze. It's all subject to confirmation. Our second final is event 506, the women's 12 years 50 metres breaststroke. Please welcome your finalists, led by lane 1 from Hatfield, Isabella Smith. Lane 2 from St Albans, Sophia Butt. Lane 3 from Watford, Emily Mailer. Lane 4 from Cheshunt, Mia Nelson. Lane 5 from Tring, Mirabelle Bradley. Lane 6 from Costa, Jasmine Scott. Lane 7, also from Costa, Natalie Herbst. And finally, in lane 8, also from Costa, Chloe Wan, your finalists for the women's 12 years, 50 metres breaststroke. So leading the way now, down to the only turn of this. Fastest entrant, Mia Nelson, and she got a qualifying time of 14.7. Turns first, making her way back, very close behind her, and Mirabelle Bradley in lane 5. And then really close behind those, we've got Natalie and then Jasmine over in 7 and 6, looking really close for the bronze medal. Also coming through strongly is Sophia Butt in lane 2, but touching first and taking the gold medal, Mia Nelson in a winning time of 41.59. Mirabelle Bradley second and silver medalist in 42.05, and third, just getting third place, Jasmine Scott in a time of 43.34, 100th ahead of Natalie Herbst. Well done, swimmers. If you can make your way out of the pool, please, swimmers. So I've just been reminded that, as you'll realise, there are no finals for the 400s. So on both the 400 IM and the 400 free, if you are a medalist, very, very well done. Please go and collect your medals from the medal table, where we have the President of Swim England, who is going to present them to you as you go over there as well. Hopefully you'll be there to see you as well. And also, those people who have won medals in these finals we're swimming at the moment, can they please go and collect theirs? Event 507 is the 13-year-old breaststroke, 50-metre breaststroke final. Your finalists, please welcome them to the blocks, led in lane 1 by Ruby May Kiabo. In lane 2 from Hatfield, Amelia Costa. In lane 3, also from Hatfield, Verity Fuge. In lane 4, also from Hatfield, Alexandra Nerney. In lane 5, also from Hatfield, Gigi Rubacek-Smith. In lane 6, from Bishop Stortford, Molly Greatbatch. In lane 7, from Hoddesdon, Poppy Saunders. And finally, in lane 8, from Berkhamsted, Valeria Antonini. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for the women's 13-year-old 50-metre breaststroke. So fastest qualifier, Alexandra Nerney at 37.1, but Verity was also 37, as was Gigi. So this should be close. Lots of Hatfield swimmers there, but also Bishop Stortford and Hoddesdon Berkhamsted coming up to the final length. Very, very close in the lead, just Alexandra Nerney from Verity Fuge. And on the other side of them, Gigi. These three a little bit clear. They should be the 1, 2, 3, and it is now. Verity Fuge, who's getting very close. Who's on the right stroke? Touching first, 36.89. The gold medal goes to Alexandra Nerney, just ahead of Verity Fuge at 37.15. And third to touch was Gigi Rubacek-Smith in 37.99. Very well done. Can you clear the pool to the side, please, swimmers? Can you clear the pool, please? very close in first and second. It was who's on the right part of the stroke, got that one. So a reminder, if you have won medals in these final sets of finals, if you could go and collect those from the medal table once they're confirmed. Event 508 is the next final, which is the women's 14 years 50 metres breaststroke. Please welcome your finalists, led by, in lane 1 from Hatfield, Amy Witten. In lane 2, also from Hatfield, Mercy Adoye. In lane 3 from Costa, Alice Azapadi. In lane 4 from Hatfield, Ever Ives. In lane 5 from Hoddesdon, Molly Seymour. In lane 6 from Watford, Summer Everson. In lane 7 from Potters Bar, Alexandra Shabinska. And in lane 8 from Bishop Stortford, Zoe Opio. Your finalists for the women's 14 years, 50 metres breaststroke. Ever Ives in lane 4 is a 14-year-old's fastest entrant in this. She qualified at 37.69, turning just fractionally ahead of the others, about 17 and a half, into the final length. There's Ever Ives in lane 4, who is looking like she's going to take this incredibly close behind her, though. Alice in 3, Molly in 5, and Summer in 6. It's all going to be really close. First to touch, though, gold medalist Ever Ives, a winning time of 37.59. Second to touch, Alice Azapadi in 38.25, who takes the silver, and bronze medalist Molly Seymour with a time of 38.54. Well done, those swimmers. Can you clear the pool to the side, please? Clear the pool, please. Event 509 is the women's 15 years 50 metres breaststroke final. Please welcome your finalists to the blocks, led in lane 1 by Watford's Yanavi. In lane 2 from Watford as well, Kaylin here. In lane 3 from Hatfield, April Mills. In lane 4 from Bishop Stortford, Ella Greatbatch. In lane 5 from the City of St Albans, Georgina Hamilton. In lane 6 from Hitchin, Hannah Lovelock. In lane 7 from Watford, Angelica Glazerskate. And in lane 8 from Hatfield, Summer Boswell. Your finalists for the women's 15 years, 50 metres breaststroke.
Let's go, Ella!
Let's go, Georgina!
So we had one standout time in the qualifications, which was Ella Great Batch, 34.24 in the middle of the pool. You can see with the black hat. 16 seconds. Let's see how fast she can go over the second half. Looking very good and comfortable to take this one. Who's going to get the silver and the bronze? Really, really close again. 3 or 4 swimmers all in this. We've got April in 3, Georgina in 5, Hannah in 6. They're going to be very, very close. No doubt who's going to take this. Gold medal goes to Ella Great Batch, a time of 34.31. Just outside her qualification time. Second, Georgina Hamilton, silver medalist, 36.61. And third to touch and bronze medalist in time of 37.03. April Mills, just ahead of Hannah Lovelock. Clear the pool, please, swimmers. Can you clear to the side, please? Event 510 is the women's 16 years old and over 50 meters breaststroke final. Your finalists, please welcome them. Led in lane 1 from Stevenage by Lucy Crocker. In lane 2 from Bishop Stortford, Kirsty Neal. In lane 3 from Hatfield, Charlotte Williams. In lane 4, from Hatfield, Ashley Ransom. In lane 5, from Hatfield, Caitlin Hartley. In lane 6, from Bishop Stortford, Lauren Gore. In lane 7, from Hatfield, Megan Gray. And in lane 8, from Hatfield, Ella Norton. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for the women's 16 years and over 50 meter breaststroke. So, last of the 50 meter breaststrokes. This is the oldest age group. 15 seconds at the turn. It's going to be quick. Ashley in lane 4, Caitlin in lane 5, and in lane 3 we got Charlotte. Also over in lane 6, Lauren Gore from Bishop Stortford. But this looks like this is going to go to Ashley, who touches first, winning time of 32.83. Good swim by Ashley. Second to touch in silver medalist Caitlin Hartley in time of 33.20. And third, Charlotte Williams in time of 33.85, and bronze medalist. Well done, swimmers. If you could make your way out of the pool, all those are subject to confirmation by the officials. Which brings us to our final of this session, which is event 511, the men's championship 200 meters freestyle final. Please welcome your finalists, led in lane 1 from Hatfield by Oliver Blight. In lane 2 from City of St Albans, Alexander Clavermore. In lane 3 from Bishop Stortford, Callum Cox. In lane 4 from Hatfield, Daniel Belsey. In lane 5 also from Hatfield, Jason Ho. In lane 6, completing the trio of Hatfield in the middle, Joshua Ellis. In lane 7, from the City of St Albans, Andrew Timber. And finally, in lane 8, also from the City of St Albans, Nathaniel Mapley. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for the men's championship 200 meters freestyle. So change of distance, 8 lengths of the pool, and the entry qualification times are really tight. We've got 2 under 2 minutes, we've got 4 more on 2:01. Within literally 2 seconds, you've got just about all the swimmers. 3 seconds, I think, covers all of them. This is 50. Callum Cox turning ahead of Alexander Calibabor. But it is Alex in lane 2, Costa swimmer. He qualified at 2:01, and again he's gone out fast. This is halfway. So Alexander turns first at 58, 59 for Jason Ho, Callum Cox 59, 59 for Daniel and Andrew Timber as well, 60 for Josh. Still hanging on to his lead, Alexander, and his second place at the moment is Jason Ho in lane 5. Just ahead of Daniel in lane 4, Callum in lane 3, and over in lane 7, Andrew Timber. But it's Alexander who's got about a metre or so going into the final 50. Alexander Calibabor 128, 130 Jason Ho, Daniel Belsey 130, 131s for the next 3. It's going to be really close for the medals. And there's a big sprint coming in now. In lane 5, Josh trying to get on terms with Alexander, and Josh is trying to get there, as is Daniel. This is going to be really close. 3 swimmers all coming in, they're going to touch together, and as they touch, the winner goes to Daniel Belsey in a winning time of 1:59.36. Alexander couldn't quite hang on to it, 1:59.73, again under 1 to 2 minutes. Jason Ho, third to touch, 1:59.91, again under 3 minutes. And that's the 1, 2, 3. Fourth to touch there was Andrew Timber. Well done, swimmers. If you can clear the pool to the side. That completes the finals for this session. Warm-up will be at 16:45, 4:45. 4:45 will be the warm-up, so that's in just over half an hour. If you can make sure, though, if you've won medals in this session, can you please check the result sheets and go and collect your medals? If you have won medals, very well done. Do please go and collect your medals.